What is going on, my fellow zombie slayers? It is Nelly B here, and welcome back to a brand new Call of Duty Zombies video. Today we're going to be ranking every Treyarch Zombies map that has come out since World at War, and we're only doing Treyarch maps simply because I've really only played Infinite Warfare outside of these maps, and I do want to play Advanced Warfare and World War II at some point, and I probably will rank IW maps in their own video, but today we're just going to be focusing on the head honcho themselves, Treyarch. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So starting off with Noct, I feel like half the community is going to hate me for this and the other half is going to be like, yo, what? I'm going to put Noct in good, simply because I think it is a good training ground. Now, me personally, I didn't have that much nostalgia for this map because I wasn't around when it first came out. I started playing Zombies right before Moon came out, and those maps were really intriguing. I really only played Kino and Ascension, though. I didn't have that much experience with Call of the Dead or Shangri-La when they first came out. It was really Kino, Ascension, 5, and Moon, and I didn't really care for the remaster of this map or even the other World at War maps other than Derice, and even then I was still playing Kino and Ascension a lot more, so that should probably tell you what kind of Zombies player I am. But recently, Nocturne Totem has been getting a lot of love from me, and I just love going back to World at War, going up to 155 FOV with no shoulders and nothing but arms and a gun and just the weird reload animations. It's fun. It does help with skill, and getting even past round 12 is kind of sort of like a, okay, alright, we're doing something, we're getting somewhere, because it does kind of take a while, even though there's like literally no setup. But yeah, I think Noct is a pretty solid map, not too bad, but just pretty mid, you know, not meh, but mid. Next, we have Verrückt, and I've been thinking about this, and I think, I'm sorry. I know a lot of what I said applies to Verrückt, but just recently, at least, because these lists change all the time, obviously. Recently, Verrückt hasn't been on my radar. I used to like the aesthetic when I was playing it, when I first got my PC in World at War. It was really cool and intriguing to me. I really liked the Zombies Chronicle remake. However, I just not having fun. It's kind of gotten old to me. I'm just not really into the wonder weapons that they added into the remake, and even back to the World at War version, I just never really had an inclination to play it for longer than 20 minutes, and that's if I could get past those 20 minutes without dying. So for just a pretty meh map. Maybe it's because I'm not that good, but I'll leave you to decide that in the comments if you haven't already. But yeah, moving on. Shinonuma. Now, unfortunately, this has not always been my least favorite World at War map. It was pretty good for a little while, but most of the time, I don't like it. I don't think I like Shinonuma. I don't know if it's the swamp. I don't know if it's the scenery. I don't know if it's the slow pace. Shinonuma just never really attracted me. The color palette, I know compared to Noct, is probably better in most people's opinion, but the color palette just never really intrigued me. I'm okay with dark and brown and blue colors as long as they serve a purpose. However, green, listen, I'm all for saving the planet and everything. If you cut down a tree, you should probably plant two more, but I don't like the green in Shinonuma. It's weird, it's muddy, it's nasty, and some people may like that. I thought Shinonuma was a cool idea in the beginning, but I can't get behind it anymore. Anyways, moving on, we have Derice. Now, again, I didn't come in around World at War. I don't have the same nostalgia for this map as other people do. I haven't overplayed it as much as other people have. Don't get me wrong, I played a lot of the Giant, quite a bit actually, but Derice is still a pretty great map in my opinion. You know, it gets all the basics right, the essentials. There's certain parts of the map that I don't ever really go in, but I think Derice makes that work even though it's such a small map. The catwalk is always great. The pack punch system only got better with time, and yeah, I think they just did a lot of nice little tweaks to it in the Black Ops 3 version, and it's always just held up. And I think compared to the other World at War maps, it's just prime grade A beef, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, moving on. Kino der Toten. Now, I think most of the community is fine with this. Kino der Toten is a pretty good map, I will admit. A lot of people say, well, what are you talking about? I think it's better than Der Riese. In my personal opinion, the Theater of the Damned is just not as intriguing to me as the Factory of Night. I don't know. I don't speak German. But what I will tell you is I just like the aesthetic of Der Riese more. Sure, Kino is bigger and it's got a more updated map. And I guess Black Ops 1 had some pretty cool weapons. But for me, Kino is overplayed. I think for most of us, it's still a good map. I'm not going to hate on it. I don't really have that much bad to say about it, other than that gameplay loop getting kind of stale. And that's what I should probably mention now. A lot of these maps come down to the specific gameplay loop, along with the aesthetic and the mechanics and all that stuff. But other than that, these maps are going to be around for a while. And if we want to enjoy them for as long as we have already, the gameplay loops need to be good, and it's those small 30-second to minute and a half gameplay loops that keep you coming back. So I think Kino der Toten has kind of waned on me a bit, more so than Der Riese, but only time will tell, and this list can change at any minute, like I've mentioned before. So we'll move on. Now, 5 is definitely a great map. I don't care what anybody says. Not Der Riese A prime, but I do think it deserves a spot up there with the greats, and I love the gameplay loop. Again, it comes back to that. Being able to get to round even 25 on this map is very rewarding. For some people, even 15 is pretty great. It's just such a small and contained map. We got our real first boss from this map, the Pentagon Thief. Taking him out is always pretty rewarding. You get a free bonfire sale whenever you kill him, and max ammo, obviously. I do like the Easter egg song. I like all the characters. I like the setting. The Pentagon is really cool. 5 is just a really unique map, and it stands out, and it handles this gameplay well. It's simple, I will admit, but it is also very difficult at the same time, and I think that really just gets me going. So we'll move on. Ascension. Now, like I mentioned earlier, Kino, Ascension, and Moon are really the only maps that I played heavily during Black Ops 1, and so heavily that it has the Kino effect. It's gotten the Kino effect, and I think for a lot of the community, it's also had that same effect where it's decent gameplay. The map is decent. There's not really that much wrong with it other than maybe a few minor tweaks. It's just gotten repetitive. It's gotten kind of old, and I really want to like this map more. Maybe I'll play it more in the future to try and rekindle that spark that I once had for it. I probably would have put it up maybe in great, but I think right now I don't know, not really feeling it. Now, Call of the Dead is kind of the opposite for me. I don't own it on PC, but I will soon. I think it's a pretty damn good map. If I played it more, I'd probably have better things to say about it. I've seen a lot more gameplay than I have of actually playing the map, and I do want to play it more. I honestly don't have much to say about this map. I didn't get to play it much during Black Ops 1, and hopefully I can play it again soon with some friends on PC. That would be pretty dope. But unfortunately, I just don't have much info on this map in general, so I'm gonna pass it to my boy Shang. Now, another map that I didn't have too much experience with back in Black Ops 1, but I do own it on PC now. I have, my first time playing it was actually on Zombies Chronicles, so I'm just gonna put it there. It's good. I like it. It's a fun map. It's nothing great, I don't think. It is a very unique setting. I do like the way that it uses its green and brown tones much better than Shinonuma. The mystery behind it, the story behind it is very intriguing. Not enough for me to remember anything of the thousands and thousands of videos I've watched about just Call of Duty Zombies in general. Is Shang on Mars or whatever, or the moon, or I don't know. It could be in Kentucky. We're trying to figure it out. But I think Shang has a pretty good gameplay loop. It has a lot of interesting traps and ways to traverse the map. It's got like a water slide and a whole trolley. That's pretty damn cool. But I just don't have much more to say about it because I haven't played it as much. I do like it, but it isn't one of the best, I have to say. I just gotta be honest. Now, Moon, this was actually my first DLC experience with the zombies map. So, Moon, I never really liked you, homie. I never really cared for you, bro. It ain't even like that, homie. I wasn't even leading you on. You was just mad the whole time. Honestly, literally, I remember from day one, my experience with Moon has always just been meh. I either have a good time trying to do the Easter egg and get fucked over half the time, or completed probably like 13% of the time, and somewhere in between there, just goofing around. And then a whole 50% of the other time is just dying on round 3 because of stupid anti-gravity and stupid excavators and stupid crap like that. Moon, I want to like you. It has potential, but it's just too unpredictable, I should say. Zombies has gotten to a point where it's kind of all not contained, but very thought out with the point system and how the zombies travel and where they spawn and whatnot. In Moon, they're kind of just jumping around everywhere and teleporting everywhere, and it's kind of a hectic mess, especially in a place where you literally can't breathe without help from a mask. So I don't know, Moon, just not for me. You're pretty mad, bruh. I don't know whether to trash on Transit because it's gotten enough hate, but it hasn't gotten enough hate from me. I haven't really talked about my experience with Transit yet. Okay, so came in to zombies during Moon and was expecting zombies during Modern Warfare 3. Because I was a child, I didn't know any better, okay guys? Calm down. When I realized zombies was coming back for Black Ops 2, I saw Transit and I was super excited. And I actually had fun on Transit, playing with my uncle and my cousins. We had a grand old time using the bank, trying to unlock Pack-a-Punch, and I just don't really remember that many frustrating things about that experience, but that was sort of like a week 1 experience. You know, a lot of things have changed since then, and I recently played Transit again with Greg FPS on his live stream, and we completed all of the Black Ops 2 Easter eggs, and of course Transit is on Black Ops 2, and I had fun again, kind of, sort of, not really, but at the same time, yes, because I got the Easter egg done, so it's all cool, but still, it's not a map that I'm gonna go back to anytime soon. Not a map that I'm gonna praise for anything unique. I think if it was remade in the Black Ops 3 or Cold War engine, it would be substantially better, but I don't even think the idea of that warrants this going any higher than dog water, so it's gonna stay down there. And it'll like it, because I said so. Okay, Nuketown Zombies. That's a pretty damn good map, I have to say. Okay, hear me out. Nuketown Zombies, that gameplay loop is... Now, you probably are the type of player who will get to Nuketown Zombies on round 20. He'll have all your perks, you'll have your jug, and you'll kind of just want to quit. Or you're the other guy, and you got fucked and didn't get jugged till round 25 or 24 or whatever it is. So, it's kind of a mixed bag, I will admit. But Nuketown Zombies, in itself, in its own little pocket, is, at least for me, a great training ground. This is where the boys go to get better. You want to get to those high rounds? You want to stop getting hit by so many goddamn zombies? Play Black Ops 2 Nuketown Zombies and you might learn a thing or two. Die Rise. I know, I can hear you right now. Clickety clackety, clickety clackety. Nelly, stop picking at your nose. Stop putting Die Rise in the goated tier. It doesn't belong. Shush, 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 shush. You will be well, my son. You will learn. Go watch Johnny J's video. Okay, it wasn't the Johnny J video that made me like this map so much. It was the map. It's one of the more unique maps when it comes to zombies, which is crazy to say because we've got snow maps, we've got Russian maps, we've got maps in an old theater, we've got maps in the Pentagon, maps in Nuketown of all places, on the moon, and Die Rise is just out here in this space that is unoccupied by most other maps. Some might float near it, some might come by it every once in a while, some might even reach for it, but none will ever be exactly like Die Rise, and I don't really know how to explain that. Maybe it's the verticality, maybe it's the Sliquifier, maybe it's the PhDTs. I don't know. I just really like this map. I like going for high rounds on it. I like running around and doing stuff. I don't, however, like having to go around twice because I forgot something. That's pretty annoying. Other than that, though, it takes skill. I know a lot of people got complaints of just falling off the map all the time, but I don't fall off the map. I mean, I do. I'm not going to say I don't, because I definitely do still, but majority of the time, 95% of the time, I'm making my jumps because I know how to make my jumps, okay? You probably don't, and that's fine. I'm not knocking you for that. Some players just know how to do certain things better, and me jumping from one end of Die Rise to the other is just one of my many talents. One of my few talents, I should say. Die Rise, just a very unique map, something that I can really get into and go for high rounds, and I'm probably going to play some after this video goes up. So, yeah, I love Die Rise. Now you know. Eat me. Mob of the Dead. Okay, this is... I totally forgot. Black Ops 2 is just banger after banger after banger. Obviously, Mob of the Dead is the GOAT. The aesthetic, the crew, the story, the weapons, the Pack-a-Punch skin, the boss, just everything. The lore behind it, even the unreleased content that I have seen for this map. Like, we were supposed to get smoke grenades. Obviously, smoke grenades don't really affect zombies that much, so what they did was they put them on Brutus, and he drops them whenever his face mask is blown off. That's pretty fucking cool, I have to say. But I think my biggest complaint, as well as most people's, is you have to go and collect all the gas tanks every time, and it's kind of annoying on solo, and there's no stamina up. But other than that, this map is literally perfect, and I don't think many people are gonna have a complaint with that, and if you do, well, again, eat me. Buried, my guy. Buried, in my opinion, is one of those maps that kind of floats towards Die Rise some of the time. Not in gameplay wise, but just in the way that the map is set up. It's a very Western aesthetic. I can't say that I'm into cowboys all too much, but I can get down with a good Western, but unfortunately most Western gunslinger type video games don't really grab my attention, which is why I still haven't played Red Dead Redemption yet. Yeah, the first one. Buried, I like it. It doesn't shove the whole gunslinger in your face. You do get a cool Remington, which is kind of shoved in your face, but that I don't mind as much. You got the whole booze aesthetic, you got Leroy, you got the witches. The witches are pretty kind of fucking annoying, I will admit. Probably one of my only complaints about the map, but again, I did the Easter egg with Greg FPS on stream, and it was just really fun. I had a lot of fun, and I think it was my second time completing that Easter egg, maybe. I think I did it in a public lobby long ago, but yeah, Buried is just a classic. The Paralyzer, how could I forget the Paralyzer? This is the map where the Mark II was introduced as well. The Time Bomb, oh my god, you could lock the box down. There were so many perma perks as well. Oh, bring me back. It was just a fun time. Buried was a great map, and yeah, let's move on. And like I said earlier, just banger after banger. A lot of people are probably gonna disagree with this, but for the people who agree, you know, Origins is a GOAT map. If it weren't for Origins, I wouldn't have been introduced to the zombies community on YouTube. I wouldn't have enjoyed zombies so much, probably wouldn't be still playing to this day. Everything that this map has to offer, especially for the first time player, is just so vast, and the amount of content that you can walk into while playing this map is pretty insane. The staffs, the Easter egg, the G-Strike, the Thunder Punch, the upgraded Thunder Punch, the upgraded staffs, all of it is just so interesting. And sure, this map probably has a lot more problems than Mob of the Dead, I will agree, but my love for this map and this map alone really rides on that nostalgia and just cementing my love for zombies in general, and really getting into the story at that point, and just really excited for what's next to come, not only with the maps themselves, but the content behind them that I was watching on YouTube. So yeah, just huge shout out to Origins for all that cool stuff. Yeah, it's a GOAT. Shadows of Evil. it's also goated. I'm sorry. We had to put a starting map up here. We didn't really have to, but listen, Shadows of Evil deserves it. The atmosphere and the aesthetic just work so well together to create this bright city, but it's also very dark, which is really hard to convey in words until you actually get in the game. There's just so much to do. There's the Silver Protector, there's the Little Arnies and Little Arnie upgrades, there's ciphers all around the map, there's the Apothecant Servant, there's the Pack Punch Ritual, and the hours and hours and hours that Noah J456 spent live streaming trying to upgrade the Apothecant Servant, and the hours and hours and hours that I spent, I would say, wasted trying to watch him find it, but I digress. Shadows of Evil is just an all-around amazing map, and loading in with that would, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot it. Oh, the 6-shooter that you get when you first spawn into Shadows. Oh, it's just so good. And Black Ops 3 looks so good. I need to bring this up now. Black Ops 3 is such an amazing game. A lot of these maps are going to go up pretty high for me, so bear with me. We'll move on. Dreisendrach, pretty damn great. It has a lot of the same problems that Kindred of Toten and Ascension have. It's overplayed for me. It is one of the very first Easter eggs I completed on my own, so that's pretty damn cool. I do like how this picks up the story from the Giant and carries it onto Zetsubo Nishima. It does a really good job at capturing the humanity of Tank Dempsey, someone who we really only got one-liners for, like most of the other characters. He's not someone that we got too much depth into in previous games, but we definitely see it on full effect here, and blowing up the moon is pretty damn cool. The Easter egg is really pretty straightforward, I'd say. Mostly, I really don't have too hard of a time remembering it, playing it now. But yeah, I really don't have many bad things to say about this map, other than I kind of overstayed my welcome and kind of getting bored now, but I will always enjoy a good game of Dreisendrach. So, wahia baby, Zetsubo Nishima, pretty meh. I'm sorry. I really want to like this map. I really want to like this map. However, it's very similar to Moon, where every game is different. It's very unpredictable, and I'll either get to round 5 and die from the spiders by doing the Skull and Ant Swappy Pappy rituals, or I can get to round 20 and still not have any of the parts to rebuild the fucking elevator. It's ridiculous, y'all. This map is, I really want to like it. I had a lot of fun with it when it came out, but unfortunately that hype died off very quickly. Yeah, Zetsubo Nishima is just a very meh map for me. Grad Crovy, Grad Crovy, Dragons, Color Palette, Raygun Mark III, PPSH, All4 Siege. Ooh, what else? Oh, difficult but rewarding Easter egg. Oh, amazing storyline, characters. Oh, did I say color palette? Oh, this is a map design. Backup punch system. Unique traps. Oh, it's all so much. Grad Crovy, you're goated. We get it. Let's move on. Revelations. Pretty meh. Now, it doesn't have the same problems as Zetsubo Nishima or Moon. I haven't overplayed this map either. It was a bit of a letdown, but regardless of that, gameplay is pretty stale. Once you get where you need to be, you can be there by round 10, and you're pretty much invincible by then. And sure, there's some cool wall running Easter eggs, and there's some cool chalk Easter eggs, and there's a cool putting your DG4s in the Kino teleporter Easter eggs, but other than that, it's pretty meh, brother. Blood of the Dead, fucking garbage. I'm sorry to anyone who didn't see that coming. I don't like Black Ops 4, and I guess we gotta talk about it now. I just didn't enjoy it. I don't know. The perk system was pretty whack. The HUD was pretty janked up. The story is there, I guess. The scenery, the aesthetics of the map are there, I guess. But what did you do to my boy? You murdered him. They didn't get it, and I'll talk about this when we get to Classified, but they didn't get what made Mob of the Dead so great. And I genuinely hate when people say, I'm not comparing it to Mob of the Dead. Why are you comparing it to Mob? It's literally a remaster of Mob of the Dead. How could you not? That's like when people say, are you comparing apples to oranges? Well, no, I'm comparing red apples to green apples, but how would the first comparison not make any sense? It just, listen, Blood of the Dead ruined Mob of the Dead for me for a little bit there. Honestly, I gotta say it made me dislike Mob of the Dead because I thought it wasn't that good as I remember, but I just realized that Blood of the Dead just really fucked it up in the most unnecessary way possible. What the fuck is that bridge? What the fuck is that starting area? Why is there a goddamn... I don't want to talk about... I'm literally getting stressed. I'm moving on. Blood of the Dead is garbage. Don't argue. Classified, it's pretty damn good. Classified's good. I have to say, it's not one of those maps that I'll keep replaying, but it is one of those maps that I was replaying over and over again, and that's mainly because it got everything right that Blood of the Dead couldn't even imagine. Simplicity. You won't understand how much a little bit of renovation can go a long way. Letting us open a few more doors, letting us experience a connection or even a part of a map like how they did in Classified with Moon. It's very intriguing to me because it's all very simple stuff, but it works so well. And it's the complete opposite of Blood of the Dead, where they said, well, let's do a little fan service. We'll put Moon and a Mimi in here and we'll open a couple doors for them and see how they like it. They had to take out the Pentagon Thief for some reason, but yeah, other than that, I will say the Wonder Weapon, the Winter's Howl, is pretty dookie, but I mean, it wasn't that great in 5 to begin with, so it kind of makes sense. But we're moving on. Voyage of Despair. Now, I haven't played this map enough to warrant dog water, so I'm gonna say it's pretty bad. It does have some redeeming qualities. Being able to play on the Titanic, of all places, is one of those very unique maps that we never even imagined of getting. But we got it, and I'd say the story got pretty interesting after this map. The gameplay got relatively good after this map. The layout is pretty trash. I mean, I don't really have much good to say about this map, but I will say it isn't Blood of the Dead, so we'll move on. Okay, listen, 9, if this were the beginning of Black Ops 4, I would say it was bad. But 9 was my main map that I played while going for Dark Matter on Black Ops 4, so I obviously wouldn't have played it that much if I didn't like it, so I'm gonna go with good. I don't think it's better than Classified. If 9 is just a step below, it's a new experience, which is cool. I like how the 4 different areas kind of connect through these underground tunnels of catacombs, and then up above is sort of an arena, and it's got a lot of cool aspects. The Easter egg is pretty interesting. It's also pretty difficult, but I digress. It's a pretty meh map, honestly, if it weren't for the fact that Black Ops 4 doesn't have too many good maps, and when the good maps are good on Black Ops 4, they stand out. So we're putting it in good, and that's probably the most charitability I'll ever have for Black Ops 4. So we're moving on. Dead of the Night. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I know a lot of the community is going to hate me because it isn't at least in my top 5 or 10. But Dead of the Night is just a very meh map for me. I really enjoyed it when it first came out. I do think it is still a pretty cool setting, but the setup is excruciating. The payoff isn't that rewarding anymore. I do think the Alistair's Folly and whatever the upgrade is for it is pretty damn cool, but everything other than that, Pack-a-Punch is pretty grueling, I will say. There are some pretty good scares with the werewolves, but I just don't enjoy setting up on this map. I don't think it's fun anymore. I don't really and have never really cared for high rounds on this map. Again, cool aesthetic. Gameplay's kind of lacking for me though. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people, I actually don't know. People just say they like it and leave it at that. So I'm gonna leave it at meh and move on. Ancient Evil. That's a pretty... I put too many Black Ops 4 maps in good. I'm betraying my brothers. No, Ancient Evil's a pretty decent map. I like it a hell of a lot more than Dead of the Night. About as much as Classified, actually. I genuinely enjoy my time on this map. I have forgotten a lot about it. However, I am intrigued to look it up in the future and play it again if I can get the chance. But yeah, I should mention also now, I haven't completed any of the Black Ops 4 Easter eggs, and I know you might be saying, well, that's why you didn't like Blood of the Dead. You didn't complete the Easter egg. I saw the cutscene. I saw people complete it. I understand. I tried to complete it myself a couple of times, but if I don't enjoy trying to complete an Easter egg, I'm more than happy with calling that map a bad map. I'm not going to complete something that I don't enjoy, especially in a video game that I paid to play. So no, don't come here with that bullshit. I enjoyed Ancient Evil even though I didn't do the Easter egg, and I really haven't attempted it in like 2 years now, so shush your mouth, okay? Ancient Evil is a pretty decent map. I like the 4 gauntlets that you can get. The Pegasus, that cutscene is pretty cool, and the equipment for that is also pretty cool. But other than that, the scenery, the aesthetic, the map layout is pretty decent. I compared it in a previous video to Der Eisendrache. Very similar if you actually think about it, but it just does certain things a little worse. And Ancient Evil is just a very good map, I will say. Alpha Omega? It's pretty bad. Yeah, I did enjoy this map until I started going for Dark Matter, and ever since I tried to get camos on this map, I've hated it. It's got the same problem with Blood of the Dead. It built upon the original way too much. It was way too excessive, and I think the town was just executed poorly. I didn't see the vision. I didn't care for the vision at all. And the color palette is just pretty gross too. So I don't know. Alpha Omega, pretty bad map. Ray Gun Mark 2s are cool, I guess. Yeah, sure. Tag der Toten. I don't know how people feel about this map. And I don't even know how I feel about this map. So we're going to be putting it in meh. I will be completely honest with you. I've probably played this map less than 10 times and no longer than 30 minutes each. I don't really have much experience with this map. I did try to do a couple of Easter eggs because I at least from my experience, there's a lot on this map that you can do. It's just not that intriguing for me. I feel like I'm kind of happy that I didn't have the connection to Call of the Dead as most other people do, or at least to the extent that I did with Mob of the Dead, because I feel like Black Ops 4 would have ruined that map for me as well. However, here we are. Tiger Town's pretty mad map. My complaints aren't the additions to Call of the Dead. I don't think it's very similar in that respect. It isn't really pulling me. I haven't really had a reason to come back to this map other than it exists, and I'm kind of intrigued to know just how much shit there is, but not enough to play it. Maybe soon. I've also wanted to play a couple other maps, but yeah, we'll see. Tiger Tone, just a very mad map. Wouldn't really recommend playing it for anybody new or old, but yeah, we'll move on to Cold War. Finally, Cold War. D Machine is a pretty damn good map, I have to say. It got a lot of really important things right. It redeemed Black Ops 4 in a lot of really good ways, and unfortunately, it's already gotten repetitive. I don't really know how to say this, but D Machine just kind of fell off. It was a great springboard, but that springboard is kind of like flopped over in the water now because so many people have been just using it over and over and over again, and the amount of time spent on this map is immeasurable. I probably have close to 2.5 weeks total of playtime in Cold War Zombies, and about 75% of that is probably D Machine. So yeah, overplayed, but it was a very good base for what we now know to be Firebase Z and Outbreak. So it did a lot of things right, did a lot of cool new things, and I'm not gonna knock it for any of those things. But yeah, kind of my own fault that I played it into the ground. But here we are, Firebase Z. I'm gonna put it here just because it's too early to tell. I literally just got done playing this map, and all I felt was meh. I don't know. I really did enjoy it when I first started playing it, when it first came out. The Easter egg was pretty cool. The story was kind of cool. It was a little hand-holdy, I will admit. The Orda boss fight is pretty cool. The Raikei 84 isn't my favorite wonder weapon, but it's kind of unique, I guess. It's just got a lot of meh to it, and I don't really have a solid opinion to form on this map, kind of like I do Tiger Toten, but hopefully during the next one of these videos, I'll be able to give a better explanation and maybe accurately represent it on this chart next time. So yeah, anyways guys, that's gonna be it for the video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. And down in those comments below, you've probably already done it. You can tell me how wrong I am or how right I am. You can stroke my ego or beat me over the head with whatever kind of sandal that you have close by. But until then, I'm gonna get some sleep because I'm pretty tired and it's 6 a.m. Have a good one, y'all. Stay safe, wear a mask, and peace.